part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright. You're listening to the Krypton Report.
June is fast approaching, and that is not only Superman Day, but it's also the 10th anniversary of Man of Steel. Check out our website on Facebook for the information to join, as we will be updating it, our live Man of Steel rewatch. We'll be streaming, and we'll be making an online party to rewatch Man of Steel. So please add that to your calendar. And remember,
look up in the sky.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the man of tomorrow. And with me is the Crimson Runner man himself, the Superman of Red, Mr. Man of Steel, James Cole. What's up, dude?
What's up, Tyler?
The Crimson Crusader, the Scarlet Speedster, not the Flash.
The Crimson Chin.
Oh man, some cool stuff to talk about. We're gonna dive in. It's been a cool a little bit of a beat since last we recorded, but things happened. First things up, anyone looking at their show notes will see a significant uptick in our show count. That is because a few months back I talked about that a large chunk of our shows from when we did Supergirl Season 2 were missing. And that had to do with the past network that I was a part of. And some of those have been recovered. And those will be back cataloged. I'm trying to figure out how it all works under the numbers that are missing right now. So this is actually episode 447. Adding those back cataloged episodes, which I'm working on right now.
50 then, huh?
Yeah. I was like, whoa, holy crap, Tyler. You talk about Superman and DC Comics a lot. But we're gonna get
and that's not even what's in the offline chat.
Yeah. I mean, if I just chronologized everything, I'd be like, be a lot higher. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what's going on. And it's going to mainly center around a certain character. Who might that be? But here we go. We're going to jump right in. There was no Superman and Lois last week, and that kind of threw me for a loop because that sucked. Because on Tuesday, when Superman and Lois should have aired, it was the 85th anniversary of our boy Superman. 85. He's looking good for 85, man. What do you think?
Well, that just seems like the day not to miss an episode.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that would be like one you would promote, but maybe they just wanted to, show a rerun. Because I don't watch live. Like, I bought it and I watch digitally, so maybe they were showing one trying to get people interested in the property. But I figured I don't know how you do that by just showing one rerun. But yeah, I just was kind of bummed because I was like, man, what a capper to, Superman's birthday, and then he wasn't there. So what is up with that? Did you check out?
Yeah, me. I mean, I had a good Superman day.
I did too. What did you do for Superman's anniversary birthday?
I mean, nothing in particular. I mean, it was, kind of the same thing, but just read some more comics, just, kind of watched some videos and things people had, posted, checked it out online, like what people were doing and posting and saying. I know I sent you guys a screenshot of John Cryer, Clancy Brown, and Michael Rosenbaum thing, which was pretty cool. Which was a nice, funny bit that that I was happy to see that day.
Yeah, they were like, "He's great." Not really. I can agree. He's not that great.
Right.
Great Twitter. Did you watch the DC put out an actual 2-minute thing called Superman Hope, and they put a lot of like, hope, and it was a really great little audio or like video clips from all different eras of Superman, and like they used Henry Cavill from Man of Steel, which it's so interesting to watch like a bunch of clips of Superman and then see Henry like clips of Man of Steel just because there's such a stark difference in the colorization. Like it pops a lot harder when you like show like, oh, Superman Returns, Superman and Lois, classic Superman, boom, Man of Steel. Like it's like, whoa, that's dark. Just talking about the color of his suit. But it was really good, and like Janine, I had it playing on my phone, and Janine was in our bedroom, which is adjacent to my office, and she was like, that sounds really cool. So I came back out, and we watched it. We put it up on TV and watched it. It was really well done. The only thing I can say that was kind of sad about it was Brandon Routh was in it for Superman Returns, but it always was kind of shot, so you really couldn't see Brandon Routh's face real well. There was no Dean Cain reference, no George Reeve reference, but there was a Chris and Tyler and Henry, representation in it. But it was a really good clip. So I shared it, of course, on our socials. And while we're talking about the Big Blue, we have our guests for Superman Celebration this year. I do want to go, but it might be tough. I don't know, but this is this year's guest for Superman Celebration. Superman.
Yeah.
Celebration. We have Nicole Mays as Dreamer, Jesse Rath as Brainiac 5. But the reason that I will go, Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, Clark Kent from Superman and Lois. Right there is the whole flipping reason I would go. Because I missed the chance to meet him back in early 2020, before right as the shutdown was about to happen, and things were starting to kind of wind down. That was late February.
Yeah, if I could swing that, that'd be the second live action Superman Clark Kent I've met.
So I'll just have to come kidnap you, and we'll just do like a fly-by-night like road trip thing where we take shifts driving. One sleeps, one's awake kind of thing.
Right.
Because I do want to meet him, get my picture, and everything. But man, I will tell you, it's just I hate that Janine was in school during the 40th when they had, multiple Supermen down there back in 2018, back in the good times, before the dark times, before the Empire. But yeah, I do want to go, man. Like I want to go and just like go back to the museum because they've expanded it and put more stuff out. And they've really done a lot of work down there. And I want to take the kids this time because they're both in a good age to enjoy it. I want to meet Tyler, do some Tyler on Tyler talking, it's a special thing. And, but just the other two guests, man, like nothing against them, but they wore out their welcome on Supergirl to where I don't even really like the characters. So I'm not so pumped to like, oh, Brainiac and Dreamer.
Oh, I mean, I am. I would definitely.
Well, good, Jay.
Definitely take my time to meet them.
Well, I'm chatting up with Tyler and meeting with Superman. You can go meet Brainiac and Dreamer. Okay, you can go interview them and talk to them and do your thing, and I'll be meeting the Man of Steel himself. Okay.
Oh no, you'll have to just stand there and wait for me.
That's probably true. We have to go
we'll meet
together.
Tyler at the same time. We'll meet Tyler about the same time.
Yeah, because if we both approach wearing the same shirt but different color and the same hats, causes more people to ask questions than if it's just one of us.
Oh, absolutely.
And if I bring the kids and I get them new shirts and Jania wears her shirt, then we look like something's going on. So then Tyler will be like, oh, what's that? I'll be like, the Krypton Report. And then as he goes to say Krypton Report, I'll just record him. Like, what? just joking. I would not record without the permission. Gotcha. Tyler supports the Krypton Report.
Right.
That would be hilarious. But anyways, Let's see. Okay, so they released some pictures. Titans is back, and we talked about that a little bit, and that's new episode coming up. What do you call it? They released a photo that showed like Tim Drake in his costume next to Nightwing and everything, and it looked pretty cool. You know, it was they're really kind of gearing it up to be like, oh, this is it, you know. And have you watched the newest episode of Titans? The Dude, Where's My Gar?
No, I haven't. I've seen some screenshots, and it looks pretty awesome. Just some multiversal shots is from what I can tell.
Man, James, I love you, but you got to get on this. Okay, we gotta talk about this because it was probably. I will say this, and I'm just messing with you. It was probably the best episode of Titans ever. Alongside the Connor episode, just because it was the closest to like a bottled styled episode compared to the last two episodes that were pure garbage. And I say that with love, but they were pure garbage. They could have been easily tweaked and made into one episode. But yes, we do have this was Gar traveling the multiverse. He was able to tap into the multiverse through the red, and he ends up meeting some cool people.
Well, that's awesome. I definitely know Stargirl.
Yes, Stargirl was leaked because we had the behind the scenes photo.
Exactly. And I did see he does see Barry, Grant Gustin's Barry running.
Yes. There's also some audio cameos as well. So that's just kind of neat. That's in the episode. But the one I wanted to talk about was the end.
You can talk with me about it.
Okay, so at the end, it's kind of spoiler, but not really. He ends up in the Doom Patrol house with Cyborg. Okay?
Ooh.
And Cyborg comes running out and he's like, Beast Boy. And he yells for Cliff. And that's where the episode ends. But I looked at Janine and I said, which Doom Patrol is this? And she looked at me like, what? I was like, we met the Doom Patrol in season 1. Where Niles Coulter was really a douchebag. And that comes up in the episode. And I'll let you go through all that. But if you remember, during Crisis, they established that the Doom Patrol TV show takes place on a different Earth. So there's a Doom Patrol on their own Earth. Then there's the Doom Patrol that was on the Titans Earth. And with Beast Boy, the way this episode goes, like where he's traveling the multiverse through the red, you know, and he meets Stargirl, and then he ends up with Cyborg. Is this the Cyborg of his Earth that we've never actually met before? Okay, which I think would probably be
the best. He on the Doom Patrol Earth?
I'm leaning towards it's his Earth Doom Patrol. That's what I'm leaning towards. But it is worth just mentioning and thinking about.
Well, I'm pretty certain we probably wouldn't be getting the Chief back, who was that one before.
Exactly. And that's good cause because, anyways. All right. So that was just, I wanted to kind of just bring that up as a thought. You know, I could be full of poo, but it's just worth thinking about. Let's talk about something that's really upset me before we talk about good stuff. How's that sound?
Sure.
So as of this recording, they released the first image of the Merry Little Batman. The film it's an animated film that follows Batman, Alfred, and young Damian Wayne, now known as Little Batman, as they navigate the fun and frustrations of life as a super family. The film will release on Prime Video alongside a spin-off series. Okay, and it was called Merry Little Batman because it was supposed to be a Christmas special. Now, this was announced a while back alongside the My Adventures of Superman and the Batman Cape Crusader. And I thought, man, that sounds really awesome. Okay. And as we've talked about before, there's been multiple not DC, but like Warner Brothers projects that were canceled. There's been 2 animated Scooby-Doo projects that were canceled. I'm just going to get expletive for a second. This is shit. Okay? This animation, like, looks like pure garbage. This is almost as bad, if not worse. Just how they draw Alfred, like, dear God. This is as bad or if not worse than that Aquaman series they tried to forget ever existed.
Yeah, Alfred looks like that friggin' Uncle Grandpa or something. That terrible, that abysmal Cartoon Network animation that they use on those crappy shows.
He looks like male genitals, as Brian put. His face does. Okay,
he does look like a wonky testicle.
I'm angry by it because I was like, I'm not a fan of that like real anime stuff, but I can respect the art form and what it is and what it does. But this is just like lowest denominator. Like today, we went to the high school that I work at. The students had an art show, paintings, sculptures, all of it that they've been working on in art. This looks like I just gave Sayla a pencil and let her draw stuff. Like this is like one skip above South Park. Like the most basic, rudimentary possible.
I guarantee it takes a lot longer, or at least it did take a lot longer to put an episode of South Park together than it does to put whatever this is together. Like, it's terrible. It's horrible animation. It doesn't inspire any sort of interest. I know we expressed interest in it before because it sounded fun, but when something looks so bad and like it's going with that animation style, it's just going to be tasteless humor,
Yeah, it's gonna be just rudimentary crap.
Yeah, like the Aquaman cartoon was.
So like I said, I'm just angered by it, and it really kind of breaks my heart, to be honest, because I support DC. It
doesn't surprise me that it got produced under the last tenure.
You're right.
That does not in the least surprise me, though.
I mean, sadly, you're absolutely correct. I guess it breaks my heart because I'm a very big advocate for DC and the quality of like their animated films. Like I still go out and buy all their animated films to have, except more of the anime ones, just because like I really they're not my thing. I even spent money and bought that abysmal Injustice, even though I maybe could have fought it, and got my money back or something, but I kept it. But it angers me because I'm like, you want me to support this, and this is not worth supporting. So, but we're done. I'm not talking about it. When it comes out, I will not watch it. I will watch the trailer though, just so I can, yell about it because I feel like that's fair. But...
get a feel for it. But we already pretty much know what to expect. Just from looking at that artwork, you can tell what route it's going to be. Unfortunately. So yeah, we'll check out the trailer and see what it's about. But unfortunately, it doesn't. I don't think it's going to be anything more than what we expect.
Exactly. All right. So speaking of trailer, it was announced a few weeks ago that on the 25th at CinemaCon, The Flash would screen for critics, which is crazy. And there would be a new trailer for The Flash. So over the past few weeks, they have dumped a lot of promotional photos, and I shared a bunch of those on our social media. But it was like posters and new looks at the characters. And let's see here. I'm pulling them up right now, but we just had a lot of really good Flash imagery coming out. There was a poster that showed just Batman. And it was like, it looked like what you'd see on the back of like a toy box. the Flash in a really like kind of Da Vincian style pose. There was the picture of Supergirl in the same kind of background. She always looks so sad and unhappy. And let's see here. They released a kind of like hand drawn, looks like it should be like on a cereal of Batman in front of the Batmobile. Was stark white. The one that says past, present, future, the Flash, and has the 3 on there. Then, like, it looks like a photo of which, if I was at the store and bought cardboard standees of Batman and Supergirl, I think the Batsuit looks good. I think from shooting it from the side looks weird because it makes his chin look more tight in there than face forward. But those were really cool and was like getting everyone really hyped. What else has got everybody really hyped is they released I got my McFarlane delivery of the figures. And the kids and I recorded videos of them unboxing and opening their figures. Well, they're my figures, but they and I will say they're really good figures, okay? But I will say I do not like what? I do not like the Affleck Batman's head. Like, it looks very thrown together and cheap. The suit looks very gray compared to like some of the blue hues that we see in the trailer, but I do not like that they did Supergirl's cape as plastic, and it actually ripped off really easily when Sailor was trying to get it out of the box. But the best figure of that entire line is the Michael Keaton Batman. Like, it looks great. It feels great.
That doesn't surprise me.
The Barry Allen, regular Barry Allen, is great. Barry 2, what I'm calling him for right now. His figure's good. Like, it's not bad or anything. It's good.
I say, does it look as bad as the character in the suit?
I mean, he's not supposed to look great. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an.
Oh no, I'm just that suit painted like that. It just looks. It looks like it looks. You know what I mean? I'm not like like that's horrible. But it does not look good. But it is what it is.
Then they started releasing mini trailers, and they were countdown trailers that had little bits of new footage in it. One was just shots of everyone's face up close, and then said when the Flash trailer was coming. One was like Barry running. We saw it started with his foot, and had just a couple of do shots in it. And then the one that was famous had Batman in the Batwing with Barry and Barry ejecting, and that ended up in the trailer, and we'll get there. So those mini trailers dropped, and it was, bringing interest. They were really turning on the hype machine. And then,
they are hyper focused on this movie.
And then they released a picture that was I don't even know what you call them, because it's not really the Trinity like of this film, but it's Barry, and Supergirl. And I told you, like, it's a cool shot. But like I told you, is like, right now I'm kind of giving things the benefit of the doubt because with CG, because some people said this picture looks like nothing is real and nothing is there. And I've seen people say that online. And I get it. Like it definitely has somewhat of that feel. And I think part of it is we're so used to everything being, on some sort of screen that our eyes pick it up because we're used to seeing it. But you know what? It was still a really cool shot.
Yeah, it's a really cool shot. I'm sure it's not done entirely, as we could pick out a moment from the full trailer. It appears, but it's they pick out they do a freeze frame of of a scene that looks like it's in high speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, of course, things are going to look wrong. Things are going to look off. It's a computer-generated image, mostly supposed to be ramped up at high speed. And, I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. Like,
I let some things go. I mean, so much as
when they go like, it's computer-generated effects.
it was filmed during, like, right after COVID. So, think how long the film's been delayed is, like, we know that they've been working on special effects for a lot of these films. That's why they've been delayed. So I'm just like, I give it a little bit of a pass. It's just, they're trying to do the best they can, and things cost lots of money. And if people don't support things, they can't recoup their money to make more. But we got the trailer, man. And the trailer dropped at 3 p.m., which is when I get home from work. But I told Jania, I said, I will not watch this until about 4:30. And that's because I was like, I want to get the kids and watch it with the kids. And luckily, you were like, oh, it's about the time I'll see it. I was like, sweet. So
Yeah.
I won't be getting these messages from James like, oh my God, did you see? I'm like, shut up, James. So the trailer, I mean, this is how you cut a trailer. The way I described it to Brian, and Brian ended up watching it, and we've talked before, Brian is one of those people who is like, I only watched one trailer, but he's so excited for this film. He was like, all right, show me the trailer.
Yeah, he's pretty hyped for this movie. Flash is one of his favorite characters.
So we watched it, okay? Him and I together. And what I love about this trailer is this is how you shoot a trailer. And I say that because it gives new images, but it's like new shots from the same scene. So we're not really getting much more of the film. Like, I've heard rumors that we haven't even seen shots of the third act yet. And it's just a very impressive way of building more into this without giving stuff away.
Yeah. Looks like there's a lot of story and a lot of action in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, quite a bit.
But I am going to pull the trailer up and play it silently while we talk. And we will just, talk about the trailer. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's get into it. The trailer opens up with a shot that we had seen in, like, from a different angle. Part of that original fandom footage. You remember where it showed, like, two berries walking up on a gargoyle, which we were like, oh,
yeah, like the foggy mansion.
Yes. So
in the distance, yeah.
So it opens with that, and we get a whole little Bruce Wayne kind of prologue thing to this trailer of Bruce. We see the Bat Cave, which looks amazing. It looks like the 89 Bat Cave.
Yeah, we get to see the screens in the chair. It looks like the 89 Bat Cave.
We see where the Batwing descends from and how it descends, and the waterfall reminds me of Batman Begins. He talks about his pain and fighting crime, and it wouldn't bring his parents back, and then he says, "You actually did it," and then it cuts to the DC logos as we begin the trailer, and we see like
it's funny, we get more dialogue from Keaton in this trailer than we did in both of his movies.
Definitely, there's more dialogue from him than we got in Batman Returns.
Right.
But I know Brian's going to add Batman 89 and Batman Returns to our summer watching before we see The Flash. I'm just like, dude, there's going to be so much to watch.
It's like I haven't seen it like 5 million times.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch again with the kids because they watched, in theaters with me and Brian last year, and Solomon really got into it, and Solomon really likes the Michael
Nice.
Keaton Batman. It is worth mentioning that in the children's unboxing videos that they did, Sayla wears her Flash costume that she has, and she already wants the new Flash costume because we saw pictures of the kid's costume for Flash, and she wants the new Supergirl costume. But Solomon technically he has the new Michael Keaton costume, and he's wearing it because it was the Walmart exclusive that was supposed to be for the Batgirl movie. But since that didn't come out, it's the same Batman suit for Batgirl and for Flash. So he already has the new Michael Keaton costume. So he wears it as he's opening his figures. But back to the trailer. Enough about my children. We get the same shot we had seen before of like the house, and we get couple more shots of Barry and his mom talking. So like I said, it's scenes that we've already seen, but a little bit more. Like we get a line of dialogue from his dad about calling 911. And then we see what looks like Barry running through the Speed Force. And it looks awesome. Very gold.
Very gold.
We get this awesome shot of him like skidding across. He talks about how he broke the universe, and it's him skidding across, and we see Zod. And then the way, if you pay attention, I just caught this as we were talking, okay? If you pay attention to the next shot in the trailer, after he looks at the Black Zero, it cuts back to a kid with his hand out. In the background is Barry in like his early suit. And the only reason I know that is because they made a pop figure that was like Barry in his early suit, where it looks very much like in The Flash, in the pilot episode where Cisco puts Grant Gustin Barry in like a spandex thing trying to test his speed and everything like that. And I took a screenshot of it and sent it to you.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I'm like, okay, because there's a lot. I mean, there is a lot to break down in this trailer, and we're trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, we don't freeze frame trailers.
Yeah, I'm not crazy, okay, people.
I don't freeze frame every second of the trailer. I watch it a handful of times and try and pick out as much as I can.
Is that my dryer and washing machine going nuts? Maybe. Anyways, so continue with the trailer. Then we get to see like the shot of Zod, and it's cool mentioning because there was a thing released today from Michael Shannon where he talked about he was, approached to do Zod again, but he did not want to do it without Zack Snyder's blessing. And he approached Zack Snyder, and Snyder gave him his blessing.
Yeah. What I had saw said it was like he was hesitant to reprise the role as Zod due to what had happened to Zack Snyder. And after getting Snyder's blessing, he felt comfortable in reprising the role again.
And I love it because I feel like that is such a respect thing to do. And I guess I just really
I think there was a moment from this trailer that I feel Andy Muschietti was paying, some homage to Man of Steel by Kara asking, "Do you know what this symbol means?" and Barry saying, "It means hope," right?
Yes. You jumped ahead.
I think that's a I definitely think that's a purposeful homage to Man of Steel.
Or BVS, where, he's talking to Lois and she's like, "This means hope. It's all that some people have."
Well, it encompasses all of Henry's Superman. Just that line of "this symbol means hope." You know, I mean, it pulls it right. Every time you think of that, that's who you think of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when that line is specifically brought up, just the symbol meaning that. So I hope that there is a lot of respect given to, um, tying this to how they want it to go back to the beginning with Man of Steel.
Which is crazy to think that this film, is coming out basically around the 10-year anniversary of Man of Steel. So 10 years ago, we got this Black Zero and General Zod, and now we're coming back around to it. It's pretty intense. So we got that scene of Barry telling Kara, "It means hope." We get the same shot of her flying next to the Batwing, saying, "I will help you fight Zod." And then she takes off. We get the shot of
Which
Bruce
is
Wayne
new.
with, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." and then the next scene,
Yeah, that was a little corny, but I appreciated it.
I mean, it's who gives a crap, corny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The next shot is them getting dropped out of the. It looks like they get dropped, or the berries get dropped out of the Batwing, and this is the shot you're talking about, them running and sliding kind of up to the camera in fast motion. A shot of the Batwing, like in cold weather, where it looks like they're going to break out Kara. But here's what I really thought about. This shot is regular Barry in his bedroom talking about his mom, but his lightning is blue. So I'm really interested when some of this takes place and how.
Yeah, when does it go gold and everything? Because it's the blue lightning. It's the blue lightning he has from Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And so that I'm very interested in. Of course, we have the thing about Bruce Wayne talking about tragedy and making us who we are, and I mean Bruce Wayne is in Batfleck. Bruce Wayne. We get the shot of him coming out of on the motorcycle. We get a shot of Barry like Da Vincified, pulled across, screaming. Regular Barry 1. The car yelling, "What did you do?" that we've seen in trailers. Her punching Zod in the face with a rod. A really cool shot of Keaton Batman getting shot at with bullets and having his cape like as a shield.
Yeah, it looks to me like that is like the escape from the facility, breaking out Kara, and he is, in an enclosed space. He's using his bulletproof suit to safeguard Barry and Kara.
Which is a very awesome.
That was my impression of that scene.
That is a great impression of that scene because it just feels right. So give me just a second to move this over here because I'm using my computer. I'm just kind of playing the trailer as we talk. But then the next scene is probably a really awesome scene of I can't even tell you like what exactly is going on, but it's some sort of explosion and Batfleck's in the air, and we see him like shoot a grapple gun. It just looks
Yeah,
awesome.
that's a pretty wild looking scene. I can't wait to see what's going on there.
I feel like we're gonna get just one big scene of Batfleck, and that's action.
This movie with the Keaton action and the Batfleck action, feels like this is the right step in the right direction for, a truly comic book feeling. You know what I mean? Like a character like Batman doing something that impossible.
Yeah.
Something you feel like you would only see off the comic book page or in a cartoon, but being brought to life.
I agree with that. Let's see here. The next shot is a very Flashpoint kind of reminiscent. It looks like Barry in his in maybe Wayne Manor or maybe in the Arctic, trying to recreate his lightning attack. And then the next is Barry versus Barry yelling, "No, nobody dies." We see Namek again.
That one, the interactions that they've had in the trailers between the two Barrys is really making me wonder what the dynamic is and what's going to happen and who's going to be the Dark Flash, if it's even going to be Barry versus Barry.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's still interesting that they talk about we haven't seen the third act, because I'm like, okay, so where is Dark Flash?
Or is Dark Flash going to pop up like Sabak? Just happens.
Did you see Dark Flash and Sabak?
I hope not.
You're like, oh.
Right.
You're like, oh, crap.
Spoiler alert. Crap.
Sorry, I don't know that.
But I
don't expect you to know that.
I mean, I would almost be cool if Dark Flash shows up and is just there for a small thing and then disappears as this. Because I feel like Dark Flash is gonna be some form, an amalgamation of evil Flashes. It's not gonna be just straight Eobard Thawne. It's not gonna be straight anybody else. It's gonna be some sort of amalgamation, and it worries me in one breath, just because I feel like Thawne is so important to just the Flash period. So I don't know. It's interesting, but we see Namek take down the Batwing. Sadly, it breaks my heart.
In a way very reminiscent of the way he takes down one of the jets in Man of Steel.
Yes, and then we get the Flash logo coming up, but it flashes bat symbol, Supergirl symbol, bat symbol, the Flash. And then the last part's a little bit more of the extension of the parachutes. And Barry 1 asks, "Where's yours?" And Batman drops, and then Barry 1 drops, and he's like, "Woo!"
Yeah, that scene is it makes me feel like, what are you getting a Whedon feel for this Barry in that moment, just geeking out?
I mean,
I
don't know, because
I like the idea of him enjoying what he does. Maybe it's a sour taste in my mouth from that version of Barry.
Yeah, because that version of Barry was so pointless in the Whedon movie. I mean, I will be honest with you, when we watched it a little whiles back, he was just a pointless character. Honestly, it sucked. It broke our heart. But that's the Flash trailer, man. And
really good, really excited. As I mean, just getting me much more excited than it.
And then they released basically
than our last bits of trailers.
They released 2 major posters for it, and then they released kind of little tweaks on the poster, but the one is the wreckage of the Batwing, and it's got Batman with his head bent down, Supergirl kind of flying, and then the Flash running towards us. And it says The Flash, only in cinemas June 14th, Worlds Collide. Then we got one where it's the Batwings crash in the back, and then it's the 3 of them from the side, which is really cool. And then they did individual posters of each one from that same shot. So that's really cool.
Yeah, the posters look pretty cool.
Now, Jimothy James.
Yes.
Did you watch the international trailer that was released a little bit later?
I did.
I did too. It kind of cracked me up because, of course, like it had the Japanese like over top of it, but it had a lot of extra footage in it, and it threw me for a loop because I was like, "Oh, what, why?" You know. But the international trailer is where I really noticed that it was Barry 1 that had the lightning that was blue. But basically, the trailer opens with Barry answering a phone, and then we see him run into the street in his new costume, and he stops, and then he lifts his legs, does like this interesting crane position where we've seen where he's like hands behind himself, the lenses come down, and he goes to run, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a bunch of like girls geeking out that there's the Flash, like, we love you, and he's like awkwardly standing in the road. It was kind of funny. Then we got a really cool shot of him running, like just running, like the side of his feet hitting the ground. And then we get the most interaction between the two Barrys is them sitting in a room talking together. And he's trying to explain what's happened. And what I find interesting is I'm trying to figure out if Barry time travels or multiverse hops. Because some of the dialogue sounds like it's the same Earth. He just time traveled. And then some of it feels like he jumped to a different Earth where things are different. So I'm curious on if he did one or the other or both.
Yeah, I don't really know.
And that's what makes me so fascinated. It's because I'm like, is this Barry 2 like a time remnant version of Barry where this is the life he would have lived had his mom not died? But like this is showing Barry 1 with blue lightning. Like, I don't know. I'm very, very interested in exactly how the details of the story play out.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Flashpoint like imagery and ideas floating around, but how they are going to adapt it and use it, because it talks about time travel and it looks like multiverse travel. I don't know.
And so other than that, there's like a couple like small little shots that are from the same scenes we've already seen, just different angles. The opening was probably the biggest difference. But the other part is at the end, we see the scene right before of the Flashes lined up next to each other. When Barry 2, I'm still calling it, says, "Let's go!" They take off and they run in opposite directions and then do the slide boot to boot thing.
Right.
Which I think that scene, when it actually plays out completely, is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty awesome battle scene.
And then we see Barry 2 like basically lighten some dude. But still, no Dark Flash.
Nope.
And I'm cool with that, honestly. I'm like, I have a feeling we'll get one more small little trailer, you know? But at the same time, I don't need anything else. I mean, I didn't need this trailer, to be honest. It's awesome. I got it, but yeah.
I don't need another one. If they give me another one, I'm gonna check it out. But I was hyped for this movie beforehand. Not particularly. The hype for this one hasn't really wavered that much, given everything that's happened. So
Yeah,
I was always excited, and I was definitely going to see this one. I was going to see it anyways. But.
Yeah, it's just gone up,
Yeah, it has.
But all right, so that's the news and the new Flash trailer that really is a feast for your eyes, and we are pumped to see it. And now, what's next on our agenda, James?
What is next on our agenda?
Did you read the Superboy Man of Tomorrow book?
I did. I was going to say, are we on comics or?
Yeah, we'll go through some comics.
Go do some comics. I
Yeah.
did read Superboy, Man of Tomorrow.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It's a very similar story to what we've been talking about with Power Girl. Feeling on the outside.
Yep.
This is the original Connor. You know, he was on Gem World, so when like the universe was restarted, he didn't exist on that universe. So he's come back to a world where he didn't exist. So that's interesting. But he feels unneeded because there is like a team of a team of the super family working together. John Kent, Kara, you know, just they're trying to do and be the best they can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he starts to wonder and doubt like his place. So he goes about trying to find his place. He looks for trouble and distress calls on Earth, and you know, most of them are being handled by superheroes. So he looks out to the stars and finds Dominators are attacking a planet Dragoi.
Yep.
And he, you know, as Kryptonians do, just a hop, a skip, and a jump to the next solar system.
Of course.
So he starts saving the day, saving this planet, and he gets under attack of these metahuman inspired creations, species and gene splicing to create superpowered beings. And he fights him. In the end, he kind of has a plan of waiting for everybody to get clear before he can go all out and take everybody down. But he finds out that there are hundreds of these creations. They're overpowering him. He doesn't know what to do. And then, like, in an instant, hundreds of them dead. And the Dominator who created them says he has credits to make and orders to fill. Creates and sells these things as weapons. Then Connor is hit and attacked. Says it looks like the Cosmeteers can add an experimental Kryptonian to the kill list. Who wants the first shot?
I liked it, but to me, I don't know. It didn't grab me the way I was hoping it was going to.
I can see that. I mean, the art. I mean, Connor looks like a child. I mean, he is supposed to. He's always kind of supposed to look like a 16-year-old. So I suppose this is okay if you think he looks 16. If he looks like a teenager. There's some of his brashness, you know, some of his. So it's like, I don't know if that's. He's been gone for so long, so I'm not sure if that's something he should have grown out of by now. You know, just because he looks that way doesn't mean he doesn't like age and experience and gain maturity over the years. It is a quick read. I look forward to seeing where it goes. from this point, we definitely can get some character growth for Connor in a modern continuity book.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Definitely the way this starts. And it says this story takes place before the events of Action Comics 1051, which is, I'm pretty sure, the issue where Metallo nearly kills him.
Yeah, it makes the most sense.
And, well, he does kind of like, in that, he does kind of try to go head on with Metallo. I believe he's saying something about him not needing backup or something at the time. It's been a few months since I read 1051.
Yeah, he goes in. Half cocked, but Metallo is ready for him. Which Metallo makes a great villain for the Flash or the Super family. Jeez.
He does, especially being an unmade. Being a kryptonite-powered unmade with alien technology.
So
makes him even more dangerous than he ever was.
Like I said, I liked it. I just kind of expected more. Did you read Superman number 3?
I did.
All right. I'm going to bust out mine. What do you think about Superman number 3?
True Superman fashion. You know? The way the book ends. The unwavering optimism of the Man of Steel. Like, how many times has he given up or considered giving up on Lex Luthor only to say, I'm not giving up on you?
I thought this whole Parasite story was really cool, but I feel like it went too fast.
Well, it's issue 3. I think our big story is the Legion of Evil Geniuses or whatever they are.
Yeah, I agree. This is Josh Williamson writing, and Josh Williamson. I just read his whole Flash run and how he did his story and stuff. But I don't know. Like, it starts off with the whole creepy Parasite, Superman, and he gets Luthor to help him in Livewire and get all the Parasite infection out of him. And he puts on I
thought that was interesting, the way he uses power to draw the microscopic parasites out of himself and then seals himself in a super core containment suit.
And then he basically has Parasite eat himself, like other parasites. So it kind of reminded me of like some sort of weird, like the way they did Brainiac in the Legion movie, where it's like sewn together Brainiacs, like it was like parasites on top of parasites here. And it pulled, all the parasites from all the people. And that was it, It was like, it was over in the first couple of pages. And then it goes on with just Clark and Lois being cute together. And like you said, Superman confronting Lex, and he gives him like a signal watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then Superman goes and confronts Mercy about doing things his way. And then, of course, we get the...
Yep, not wicked, not anymore.
Like you said, the supervillains that are actually really, 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 really creepy. Because we see they have Bizarro's head in a jar.
Which last we saw, he was a full body, so somehow they removed his head.
It's just, I feel bad for Bizarro, man. I do. Like, to be honest, like And I'll be honest, in where we are with Dawn of DC and everything, I don't even know where Bizarro's been up to. I try to keep up with it, but I don't know what this Bizarro like.
Well, with the multiple, sort of reboots that have happened since Rebirth, uh, it's a little unwieldy,
For certain characters, it gets really hard to keep up with. But yes, you are absolutely correct.
Well, I mean, like Connor, they're bringing Connor back from whenever the last time we saw him was, and him being in Gem World, kind of locked outside of reality when it has been rewritten.
Yep.
So he comes back to a world where he never existed. Um, you know, death metal and the Omniverse opening up, and Roy being Roy among others being killed in Heroes in Crisis, and coming back to life. Making a way in a world that thought they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting stories and lots of number ones starting with this Dawn of DC.
Yeah, like Green Arrow is just coming out, and I'm actually looking forward to that one. I've been reading.
Well, I've seen a lot of them are like 6 issues. Like, they're 6-issue series.
Yeah, they're gonna be like short runs.
Cyborg is a 6-issue series.
They're gonna be miniseries, so we'll see what that means. But okay,
I'm glad I got DC Universe Infinite Ultra for that.
Yeah. Did you read World's Finest number 13?
Most of it. I was actually reading it this evening.
All right, we'll bring it up next time. We'll finish it. But something that we did finish. Did you watch The Doom That Came to Gotham?
I did watch The Doom That Came to Gotham.
And did you ever read The Doom That Came to Gotham?
I never did. I have not. I have seen some of the artwork. I know the writer, and I was like, oh, imagine that imagery.
Yeah, so I recently read it.
Okay.
And it's one of those, like, I read it because I was so excited when they announced this film. So it's about a year, I guess. I don't know. I can't keep up with time. And I just remember watching the film and thinking, okay, this stuck to the book quite well. I can't think of any specifics that were really changed, but there probably are some minor details like there always are in the adaptations. But there was nothing that jumped out at me. And I don't think it's on Ultra, is it?
You know what? I haven't looked. I can. You know what? I think I did look, and I don't think it was there.
Because I remember it being one of those that upset me because it wasn't on there when they were talking about it. And I thought, wow, this is something I feel like should be on Ultra. But let's just talk about the film. Like, it's, it's not one that we're going to dissect and go book versus film. But what did you think? Just kind of overall, what did you think?
Well, so I am. Oh, hey, it's just been added.
Oh, fascinating.
Look at that. It's an Ultra exclusive, so that means it's just been added. Well, you know me. I love horror movies.
Do I?
So this was.
Do I know you? We've been friends for like I think since before my daughter was born, or right around as my daughter was born. So or whatever. We've been friends a while.
Yeah.
So do I know you?
A little bit. I love horror movies. So to have an Elseworlds movie that was very like this was more horror than Justice League Dark was.
Yeah, because this is for anyone who doesn't know. Okay, well, just say this. It's Lovecraftian horror. It's like if H.P. Lovecraft wrote a Batman story. It was done by Mike Mignola.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's having that kind of in your head going in really helps with setting up what the story is. And that just helps set the stage. Go ahead.
Well, so it takes place in like 1920s Gotham,
Which
like
was
around
awesome.
the time of Prohibition.
Which was awesome.
What's that?
It was awesome.
Which was awesome. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So it's very Elseworlds. I really loved the way they used the characters. So they put so many people in this movie, in this story. I don't know if they're in there. Most people that had, so they had like they had Dick Grayson.
Yep.
The interesting thing was how they utilized Jason Todd. Him being Sanjay Todd. Then they had Kylie Kane, who I'm sure was Cassandra Kane.
That's what I thought of.
They had Barbara as Oracle, different kind of Oracle, which was really cool.
Yep.
They had Poison Ivy.
Dude, I felt okay. If anybody was the sad story of Harvey Dent Two-Face in this,
yeah, it was pretty sad. I was like, oh, look at that, Poison Ivy going after Harvey again.
Where have we seen this?
Yeah. The Two-Face, like the look was very interesting. Like him becoming the Gateway, it was that was pretty wild. It was like body horror with the way he was becoming Two-Face.
Yep.
And becoming the Gateway. They had Talia al Ghul resurrect her father Ra's al Ghul, who was actually Arabic, which is like where he is supposed to be from.
No.
Ra's al Ghul is actually from the Arabic language, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure exactly translation or anything like that, but I do know that that's what they've said that it translates from. They even had Killer Croc in there. Alfred. I loved the portrayal of Alfred.
Oh, Alfred was great.
Yeah. Classic Alfred. Doesn't matter. It's always classic Alfred.
There is only one Alfred. Alfred is the greatest butler of all time.
Right. Jason Blood and Etrigan, the demon. The magic they use, they have some Bible verses quoted in there, so they like take some Christian ideas along with some other types of mythologies to kind of like create this story. And then, it being Mignola, I was like, oh, is it Cthulhu? And then he's like, I am Cthulhu. And I was like, oh, of course you are. I really enjoyed it. And I just, I had to keep pausing it and then coming back and pressing play. So I can't wait to actually have a free moment to sit and watch it all the way through.
Nice.
What did you think in one sitting?
What did you think about the whole, we had Oliver Queen in there, which I love me some good Green Arrow when it's done right and not proto Batman. So having Batman with Green Arrow was cool. But what did you think about just, in the story we have all the creepy Lovecraftian things, but the fact that Oliver's father is who killed the Waynes. Spoiler.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Oliver's whole thing about the sins of the father having to be inherited by the son.
Yeah. And then the Ezekiel quote where sin lies with the sinner. In layman's terms.
Yeah.
I don't know the quote, but
Yeah, I
it
sure.
did. Yeah.
I liked it. It's not for everyone. It's been a little bit since I watched it because we were going to try to record it a couple weeks ago, but it's just trying to get the time for everyone to watch it here. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's a really interesting, fun Elseworlds. David, I can never pronounce his last name, does the voice of Batman again, who had previously done the voice for Soul of the Dragon. I've always said that he would make a great Batman.
Oh, is that who it was? Because when I was watching it, Legion, three episodes of Legion.
If you're like, who's that, guys? He was the main actor on Grimm when that show was on, who in real life is married to Elizabeth Tulloch, who plays Lois Lane on Superman and Lois, which brings it all back around.
The history of how the Legion is
too,
formed. I loved this episode being that
it's just interesting.
Formative mission of the Legion
all right.
tied into their current.
Did you watch any Legion of Superheroes?
Predicament.
So James, after you got done fighting crime,
current mission.
Did you watch any Legion this week? All right, so let's get into it. Season 2, Episode 9, In the Beginning. This episode takes place where we go back and we learn the history of... Let me pull up my notes here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it was basically we see that Cosmic Boy what do you call it? We have the United Planets having a meeting and Cam's dad is leading it, and we see that Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad and Stargirl, or not Saturn Girl,
very
how they were all kids on board the ship.
Total Recall style disguise.
And basically, because of that, they revealed that the person that was trying to attack Cam's dad was his right-hand man. And that's what led them to form the Legion. And they were the first 3 members.
I saw Sunboy. I was like, oh,
I love when
Tyler
they go to the
and Solo's
Superman
gonna like that
museum.
one.
They were like, he was just a myth. And I thought that was really cool. And it was Doyle, and even in the future, like you said, it comes back around to where they are now, and it's still Doyle trying to kill Cam's dad. Just now he has a better disguise. Totally. And I like the episode. I like how we saw a bunch of Legion people
I like
join,
this episode,
including our man Sunboy. So that was good. We did, and the summary, I guess, we should have probably said this, was In the Beginning. It was a 7.2 on IMDb. Was season 2, episode 9. While on a mission to rescue the Legion's benefactor, R.J. Brand, the heroes find themselves reminiscent about how the
I
Legion
said,
was
is
first
this
created
more
by
Drew
Brand,
from Earth,
its founding
from the
members
Justice
Cosmic
League
Boy,
animated series?
Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl. What this season, like we talked about, it's so interesting because I feel like there's so many of these like bottled episodes in a way of like they start off with like a through narrative, but then do all these type of like small bottled episodes like this one. I did too. The second episode that we watched was season 2, episode 10, Trials, and that is 7.4 on IMDb. And it is the Legion's nemesis, Zix, comes to them for help when the evil sorcerer Murdu takes over his homeworld. All right, James, what do you think about this one? That was my first thought.
I did like the
I was like, "Oh, snap!
the
They're
way
tying
that
it in."
Cal uses
But I liked
magic.
this episode because it was all about
after the
Zix,
trials.
we met before, being stripped of his magic and put like a leash, and he had to do the trials, which weren't as complicated as you thought.
Yes.
And it was about Superman X doing the
Is
trials
that
with
what he
him,
did?
and both of them coming out as better people to restore his magic to actually stop Mordu. The first trial was no power for Kel. The second was a riddle. We see what the wizards look like who didn't pass the trials. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. Are you referring to when he all of a sudden grew green crystals all around him? I was like, what?
Muted
what
for a
is
second.
this?
Said
I was like,
pause.
all of a sudden he just was
baby.
like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Okay.
And we saw they basically put Mordu like in an Iron Maiden is what I did. And they
I
talk
do.
about the White Witch and how she's like the sister of Dream Girl. Which I thought was a nice little kind of tee up for the next episode.
So I was like, oh, the Dark Circle. Like, is that the same Dark Circle from the Legion of Superheroes animated movie that just came out?
Season 2, episode 11.
Yeah,
Your
or
Dream,
at least like a reference of
7.6.
like that's how they use them. So the Dark Circle, I did see a lot of the United Planets stuff. So, which
Aw,
is
poor
you know,
girl.
that was a
So season 2,
something that
episode
was
11,
pretty
In Your Dreams. The Legion
modern
battles
within
the
last
Dark
few
Circle,
years, or at least
which is what James
in the
has under his
forefront
eyes,
for the last
raising a
few
little
years
girl.
of
Dark Circle, with the help
Superman
of Dream
titles.
Girl, who can predict the enemy's every
the thing
move
that I
before they
was
make
most
it.
curious about
But when the
was
Dark
like
Circle
how
was
they
how the Legion is defeating them,
could
they
make
kidnap Dream Girl
holograms that
and
would
put her abilities to themselves. What do you think about this episode, James?
trick them. Like they're supposed to know what's happening, but how did they know how to trick them? That was a little confusing to me.
That was
A
my
little,
thought,
you know,
too.
that was plot armor. But and they didn't say anything about her race, her race, her species, and I was wondering if this is the same character that is supposed to be the future ancestor of our current dreamer. What Dreamer was based on. Yeah. Lightning Lad, extremely distrustful of her. One thing I did want to bring up in these new season 2 episodes and everything is Brainy's evolution, his war suit, the way he transforms, and he's like this big, like this Hulkbuster suit when he fights.
That's what I thought. That's what I was going with.
Yeah. You know what we didn't mention about last
Yeah,
episode,
that's what I
though, the
thought.
Trials episode? We got some Superman and Cal in that episode.
But all in
We
all,
had discussed the last couple
a
episodes
bad
before
episode.
that, where we got one episode with Superman and Cal was nowhere to be found, and then another episode with Cal and Superman was nowhere to be found. Right. Well, I mean, we got the last 2 episodes.
yeah, and I also feel bad because I feel like we got all this going on, but Bouncing Boy's just not around like he was before. He was in the
Well,
thick
I
of it, he just
mean,
keeps
when
disappearing.
DC Universe changed to HBO or went over to HBO Max and it didn't go with it, then I mean, what were we supposed to do?
You're right. Oh,
Oh yeah, I'm not mad at it.
it's been, like I said, it's been weird. Like they've been good, but they just feel disconnected. But yep, that's kind of why we did 3 with this. Is so the next time we record, we'll be finishing up with the Legion of Superheroes. It's been a good run. It's only taken us like 4 years. And then you and I went and just bought it, which is, been a great just wrapping up. But all right, what an episode, man. Flash news galore. We have specials coming up in June. You'll be treated to a Flash week. And June's going to be a really big month on the podcast between the Flash and the Superman Day and the 10-year anniversary of Man of Steel. Got a lot going on. We got to get through May first. But James and I just wishing everybody a good evening, good day, good night, good luck in life. And remember, we're going to press pause and hear a few words from our other podcasts on Press Play Podcast Network.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Before we start this episode of Krypton Report, I want to take a moment and just give a shout out here to our Patreon. I know what you're thinking. Gosh, everyone's asking for money, and I get it. But our Patreon is only $1. $1 a month that helps us keep the podcast going. And what we do is we try to find interesting shows and topics and whatever we want to talk about. We've done, as of this little thing, our last recordings were on the Scream series. Brian and Tyler, that's me, do our own show where we record in the car, and it's kind of funny. And we talk about pop culture or whatever is going on. We also have the Supernatural podcast we've been reworking. It's taken some time just because of life. But we do movie commentaries as well. It's something that James and I have done, what we used to do on the main show that we've started doing here. So for $1 a month on our Patreon, you can get those shows. There's at least 4 a month. Also, there's my movie pitch show that I do. But also, what we want is if you're a Patreon, you can come on. You can come on the main show if you want. Or if there's something you want to come on and talk about, we can do it as a Patreon special. So all I want is for $1 a month, think about chipping in, joining our Patreon, and you have a voice to be a part of things. Follow the link in the link tree or in the show notes below, patreon.com/KryptonReport.
If you are like Tyler and James and can't get enough super talk, check out these other podcasts. Digging for Kryptonite, Supergirl Radio, The Last Sons of Krypton, The Superboy Legacy Podcast, All-Star Superfans, Superman the Animated Podcast, The Aspiring Kryptonians, Always Hold On to Smallville, The Geek of Steel, and Truth, Justice, and Hope.
Remember to check out Krypton Report on all social media platforms. Go to linktree.com/Krypton Report. You find out all of our report.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Look up in the sky.
We just want to say, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please check out other podcasts on the Press Play Podcast Network. Information $1 a month. You'll get extra special content that you don't get on the main show, like movie commentaries and whatever else comes out of our mouths. So check it out, patreon.com/Krypton.